Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here today. Exciting time, great event, by the way. I think we should give the organization great applause because it's great subjects in the last 2 days. Yeah, let's just take that time, right? We're getting closer to the end, but yeah, my name is Hugo. Some of you may know me from my Avid live sound relationship, been involved with Avid for the last 10 years. But most recently, I've been involved with this company. Some of you may know Flux, or actually a research center called the RCAM, which we'll talk about, the RCAM, which we'll talk in seconds. So I've been lately involved with those guys with this project about immersive audio. So this is what I want to talk to you guys about quickly today. 15 minutes will be short, and there's a lot of things. But I kind of want to talk about workflows and the way audio productions gets done in the live world, from creation to delivery, as well as everyday audio production, right? Wanting to deliver binaural for VR, wanting to deliver, ambiosonic, HOA formats, while delivering maybe some channel-based stuff. So that's a bit of the subject around that. That I have for you today. Kind of the project history. Some of you may know Flux from being a plugin manufacturer for the last 18 years. We heard the word merging technology. Actually involved with doing VSS3 as well. Funny enough, the head developer, Gael of Flux, started at merging. We were talking about merging a few times. He was involved with the V-Cube, with the creation of V-Cube. So yeah, involved with Younger as well, doing their level magic in the plugin format. The Pure Analyzer, a lot of plugin business, but one important relationship and partnership was about 8 years ago. A new partnership got created between the RCAM, and some of you maybe know the RCAM. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And Flux to actually commercialize, make available those products. Out of that came out Spat, the actual plugin. Ear being another one, tracks, verb session. So those plugins, which we call the RCAM tools. Now, the RCAM is that institute in France of research and coordination in acoustic and music, and it's based on 30 years of research, primarily in cognitive space. In that center at Centre de Pompidou, and including other research center and schools all over the world. A great partnership out of that, but kind of rapidly, and out of that came out Spat in Max MSP world for the ones that actually been involved there. There's a lot of information on what the RCAM has been all about, but a lot has to do with perceptive capacities of the human. For example, our nervous system actually work and function as well, how to reproduce sound field, and actually, source localization as well. I guess I would say as well, acoustic signature and environment. So that's a lot of the subjects behind the RCAM and the studies, which actually kind of brought into this interesting project called the Spat Revolution. So, we get the concept that, a plugin is great, but it has limited capacity. It's limited by the DAW, the resources. So the concept now with Spat Revolution is kind of go out of being sitting on the DAW, still integrating with DAWs, but being outside as a standalone piece. And this is what this is all about. The idea as well is to find ways to, simplify the workflow, right? How to simplify that workflow to make immersive content. Yeah, and while we're not focused on what we could say, the geeky aspect of making immersive audio, which was what it was all about, 5 to 10 years ago, and actually, keep our focus on creation, on creativity, right? For the little time we have, can we just right now focus on creating some content and not trying to make it work in cumbersome workflows? So that's a bit what the Spat Revolution project is all about in the base. Why immersive audio? Well, I guess I shouldn't be asking the question. We all know why, we want to do immersive audio. Loudspeaker manufacturer will say that they love immersive audio because they sell more speakers, right? There are a few manufacturers out there. Yeah? I guess it's great. It is complex, but as an audio guy myself, I'm very much excited with all what's coming, right? The ability actually to push the boundaries. Video guys are doing on live shows, and our lighting folks are doing it. I guess it's our time now on the audio side to push this. But again, how can we make this simple, integrate in our workflow? I like to say, how can I actually reach, an encoder instead of a pan, but reach an encoder to move the azimuth of an object in the space in my workflow on the console. You're giving me a good 5, 10, good 10, tons of time, so I can relax. I speak fast. My French accent's not too bad. Surviving. Good. So I mean, we all get the concept of why immersive audio, but the real question that I like to ask myself is, how can we make the workflow work? You know, how can we just simplify this? Because, you know, literally, there's no more time in a day. We don't have more time to create content. You just got to find ways to make it faster. Now, we're seeing lately a desire as well, you know, in the live world. You've heard the Timex demo, maybe some of you yesterday. My friend David was down here. Meyer guys have been doing it forever. And what most recently you may have heard from L Acoustic and D&B, loudspeaker manufacturer again. They see the interest in this because there's more speakers, but you're actually seeing the live world, live production wanting to, to deploy systems. So finding ways to do this. Now, each of those systems have their own solution. A lot of time are very much constrained to, specific ins and outs. And this is going to be where the Flux projects is a bit different. It likes to be very much speaker agnostic, speaker configuration, and very flexible from creation to delivery in a lot of ways. Or being a creation tool or actually being a live engine that interacts with, tracking system, a live console, and really play, and being very much open in a lot of ways. I like to call this a democratization of immersive audio, So the project by itself, it's that audio engine. So it's standalone software that runs on a computer and really, uses today's computer multi-core resources, right? Those computers are extremely powerful. I was lucky enough to receive a beautiful iMac Pro yesterday, which I can't wait to actually test a bit with the software. But yeah, those computers are, becoming so powerful that we can actually do a lot. And by a lot, I mean what, ingesting 128 channels, some HOA format, spatializing this and spitting this out, simultaneously at different with different stream formats. Those computers are powerful, and the integration of the Spat audio engine gets done with the DAW by using an actual plugin. So the plugin comes in the equation to do two things. Really takes the audio from Pro Tools or from whatever DAW of choice. For that matter of fact, in the live world, we're talking QLab and audio and live, for that matter of fact. But takes the audio and the automation to the Spat engine. You do your magic, you create your scene, and the return basically goes back to the DAW for what? For bouncing the result. So that is one workflow, obviously, which is very important in the equation. All this on the same machine, on the local machine, which has the playback, or the recorder, the DAW. Now, I want to deliver binaural. I need to deliver an ambisonic format. I need to deliver a channel base, maybe Dolby or Aura 3D or whatever. How can I do this? Well, that's one key part of all this, is that there are ways to actually create one speaker agnostic or format agnostic, space, if you want to call it this way, and actually bounce everything at the same time. I'll actually see if I have 2 minutes at the end. I'll actually show you a little something. Binaural is being a big one as well. So the idea is mixing multiple spatialization technologies together, combine. Now in the live world, well, that integration means what? It means more of a software that actually gets used real-time as a real-time engine and integrates with what? Well, with tracking system. We actually happen to have here in Toronto the guys from Cast, Black Tracks. Maybe some of you heard about this. We do integrate quite nicely with them, taking the tracking position live and moving stuff around in the engine. Obviously being open with OSC for open sound control. That brings live sound console. QLab system as well that can move those objects in the space. But this is really, where the Spat Live integration comes into play. But what I like a lot in this discussion is about the creation. You're a sound designer, right? You need to deliver some content for production. Well, chances are that you don't have the hardware, nor the speakers set up in your living room, and most of the time you're spending, quite a bit of hours on the plane. So guess what, The ability to have this engine running local can actually have you start the creation right there with your DAW of choice, with your playback of choice, integrating that, starting to create the immersive mix. And obviously, because it is very much agnostic of what the final delivery will be at this point, you actually are able to kind of start create and maybe move from a binaural pair of headphones on the plane to an actual cube or a little 5.1 setup in your studio, and then all the way to a 55 output Cirque du Soleil big top setup, right? So trying to, be very much speaker configuration agnostic. The live sound control actually is another aspect, right? I said it earlier, instead of reaching the pan, you're going to be reaching to an azimuth or to the distance of an element, or saying, oh, I want a bit more room presence. Actually making this part of your workflow the same way you're EQing a channel in a live world. We've done quite a bit in this world lately on projects, and it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, I come from live as well, so it's been good. You actually can see those plugins right now. What they basically do is they take your audio straight from the DAW, from Pro Tools, from Logic, from wherever it is, brings them to the software, which we may get to 2 seconds to look at. And once you're in that actual software, we get the opportunity to do multi-room and multi-acoustic simulation. And by room, I mean it's a space, right? So you're bringing those objects, those sources in the space. And then you end up with, creating some, making some object parameters that are agnostic to the speaker configuration, to the actual output format. Now, when we're talking about channel-based system, we're actually talking as well about different panning type. And we're talking about Timax earlier, Elisa. Those companies chose a specific panning type, being a pairwise panning type. We can go on about those panning types for a long time. But Spat as well offers a variety of panning types to actually give you creative tools. You may be to use a specific panning type to do a spinning sound effect around here, while a different panning type will be used to create tracking, let's say, for someone that's talking on stage, right? While I'm actually sitting here, if the audio is coming out on the other side, not necessarily interesting. I want to have some, right, distribution, amplitude distribution as well. So there's different panning type to do this, and there's a lot of that going on in the back. And if you're talking about the audio creation or production per se, what's the best? Ingest, mono sources and deliver at the same time a 5.1 bed, a channel-based, maybe Aura or Dolby bed to that session, and at the same time doing a binaural and maybe other format, maybe an HOA all the way to fourth order, depending on the limitation of the actual DAW. So that's a bit, what's going on. I'm just going to do a quick one just to show you guys what this is all about. And we see that. Yeah, we can. Yeah, it gives you a quick idea of what's going on that software. So you basically, either you're getting those sources that you see on top automatically appear when you open the DAW. So if the plugin is present in the DAW, those actual sources appear right there for you. You're connecting them to rooms, and a room is an actual space with acoustic simulation as well. So each room has their own reverb engine, let's call it this way. And then from there is you choose your room type. So if actually you have to click on our little room here, you'll get a bit of the options that we get. You get right there on the from higher order ambisonic all the way to 7th order on the ambisonic world being binaural. And then if you choose the channel-based, well, then you get into, the typical channel-based configuration. Some of them you probably know. There's a bunch of custom ones from projects we've done, but the Oro, the 56, the Dome, and then obviously stereo, standard stereo, and so on and so forth. And custom configuration are available. Now, once you're in this channel-based mode, let's say that I pick whatever, then you get the panning option, right? There's obviously some learning to do about those different panning options, but a lot of flexibility in this product, very powerful. And the idea is how to streamline the workflow. That's the conversation we're trying to have every day with engineers. Someone producing something right in the studio. We've visited some studios back earlier, was it this year? And yeah, they were 15 speaker up, 20 speaker up, and then but their thing was, okay, I want to create something once, but actually bounce everything at the same time, right? And we're not talking about, down mixing or anything, and we're really talking about having some separate rooms that are actually creating those, those mixes, those beds. So that's a bit what's going on. I mean, time is flying, and I could be going on for hours on this. It's an exciting subject. So if you guys are actually coming down to AES show, we are doing some presentation about that. And it's just great to be partnering as well, and be partnering with this IRCAM center in France, because they've been at this forever, ever. Yeah, I can just, go back here quick. So yeah, I mean, you get an idea of multiple input stream format, binaural, channel-based, transaural, B format, mid-side as well. A lot of spatialization technologies all combined. So it's kind of trying to get all the standards. We're not doing something specific, trying to open all the standards or the common practices in this industry. Yeah, and then when you're in the channel-based mode, you're talking about various spanning types. So that's pretty much what it is for me today. A bunch of developments are going on. Wave field synthesis is a big one. When we talk about sound fields, such as HOA, ambisonic, the wave field synthesis is a big subject, something we're looking at. Support for ADM as well is in the conversation. Ed tracking, so ed-related transfer function, and ed tracking with ed set supports, and adding some snapshot trajectory in the product. So you can really easily take an object, assign it an effect, a ping-pong effect, and move to left or right in timing, and try to simplify again the creation process in creating a spatial content or immersive content. So this is what I had for you guys today. Quick. Yeah, I did it. 16 minutes, 17 minutes, 18 minutes. Okay. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's really exciting.